Hi, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. It is another sunny, I don't know what day of the week, it's Wednesday. Because you know when your Monday's a holiday, then for the whole rest of the week, you're a little unsure of what the day it is. In fact, my stepmom was taken to the hospital this morning by ambulance. And so I was dressed and ready to go meet my dad up at the ER. Bright and early. Well, it wasn't bright. Well, I guess it was getting bright because it's summer. About 6 o'clock, 6:30 this morning, 6:45 maybe I was dressed because the website where my husband actually works at that hospital said that visitors could go in starting May 26th. I didn't know what the day was. But then my dad got there and he was turned away because visitors couldn't go in. So then I thought maybe it wasn't the 26th. I don't even know what day it is anymore. But she's been admitted, but we can't get in. So it is what it is. I don't know what day of the week it is or what number of the week it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and film this video and then see where we stand, but it doesn't look like we can go in. So we can FaceTime, but I wanna hurry and get the video done so I can have my phone back because you know, that's when your office is your phone, it kind of messes with your life. So I'm gonna do another card from the upcoming catalog. I will be going again to the post office probably on Monday of next week. So I think I'm probably getting close to all of those of you who need a catalog. But if you need a catalog, let me know. All you have to do is go to my website and the link is below and place any size order at all. And then I will mail you one. And that lets me know that you don't have another demonstrator that you're purchasing from. And catalog's no cost to you. It does go live next Wednesday. I thought it went live on Tuesday because I didn't know what day of the week June 3rd was, but it's Wednesday. So my email that's going to go out, it hopefully will go out today, but it may end up going out tomorrow depending on how my day goes. We'll let you know what catalog debut day is because it's always fun around here. Of course, you know, these days can go different, but usually catalog debut day, I have a bunch of fun and there will be specials and there's lots of stuff going on. So you want to make sure you're on my email list. I also have June 1st is the last day that you can sign up for my Try It class. And I say it's the last day, but I think it's probably going to fill before it gets to that last day because so many things are due to go on back order because of COVID as soon as the catalog goes live, just because the number of demonstrators we have and the pre-order that we have. So I know the hoops, because every card that I'm doing is part of my Try It class, which I have a video. So instead of doing a paper share or ribbon share this year, because there's just not going to be supplies, and frankly, those aren't my favorite thing, because I think that you guys get that stuff and then you don't use it and it just sits around. And the idea of it is for you to see everything, to see what you like the most, to see what you want to purchase. But I think it just gives you a whole lot of a little bit of stuff that you never use. So this year I switched it up and it's easier for me because it's a little less of everything, but you still get to see everything. You're going to get to see a little bit of all the paper, not necessarily every design, but you will get to see it in your private videos. So I will show you all of it in the videos, and then you'll get to make a card with every designer series paper, not every piece of it, but you'll get to see it, and then you'll make a card. So you'll make 10 cards because there's 10 new papers. Every card will have a new ribbon and a new embellishment, but these are due to go in back order and I can only order so many of these. So I'm cutting it off when I know that I have enough of these, and I'm getting very close to being, I have some other demonstrators buying these for me. So I've got more than what I could get, but we're going to get close. So if you want to do that, it's going to be super fun. And then as the year goes on, you'll have seen all of the papers. You'll know what you like. You'll have made the cards, and next new catalog, you won't be sitting there going, well, there's a whole lot of 6x6 and half yards of ribbon that I never used, because you will have used it all, and you'll have 10 cards, and you also get a great PDF template that you'll be able to use for now and forever because it will have 10 card designs. It may have less because some of them we may repeat, but it'll be super fun, I promise you, and you'll have the private videos that you'll be able to watch. But today I'm going back to Blossoms in Bloom because I'm going to use this die. I've made 3 or 4 cards, and there'll be a little playlist. I'll link them all together so you can see them. But I've made all the cards. I have yet to use this die, so I'm finally going to use the die today. The other thing that I wanted to show you is I've had several people ask, because I know in the camera it's hard to see the difference between Bumblebee, and Crushed Curry. So here's a whole sheet of Crushed Curry, and I'll try to angle it in the light because there is a difference. And here is when I was with my girlfriends yesterday. Yay! For the first time since March, we were in the same room together. So the difference to me is never in my evers have I gone to make a spring card and thought, oh, I will reach for Crushed Curry as my card base. Because to me, Crushed Curry is that beautiful autumn sunflower, golden days of fall color. I love Crushed Curry. My wardrobe is Crushed Curry. It's one of my favorite colors. But to me, it's not a spring color. It's barely even a summer color. Like you can mix it in, but not as its own standalone color. This, I just hope you can see it. It's a definite, it's the same family, but it's not even one shade lighter. I'd say it's 2 shades lighter. I'm trying to get an angle where I think you can see the shades lighter. The funny thing is, I have some stuff I'm listing on eBay. So I still have some honey paper. I should have brought it over. It's actually laying over there. And then the one that was with the mint macaron year, Dijon. The Dijon's like 3 shades deeper. Okay, I'll pause the video so I can get this. Hang on. I still have these because, you know, I'm a yellow girl. So sometimes I think I'm going to use them. So here's Dijon. And people are like, well, you know, Crushed Curry was Dijon. No, not even close. Here's Dijon. I love it because it's a gold. And sometimes I reach for Crushed Curry when I want a gold. But Crushed Curry is not Dijon. This was our color when we needed gold. We don't have that anymore. And I don't use my retired stuff, so I'm getting rid of it. And then here's honey. And it's kind of the in-between of these. So you can see that this is dark, this is medium, and then this is lighter. That's when I realized that the Bumblebee is not just 1 shade lighter than the curry, it's 2, because I happen to have the honey, a whole packet of it here. So I could see that it's actually 2 shades. It's got a little tone of orange to it that you don't really see until you put it under the lights. So I hope that you can see it. So sometimes when you just see the color by itself, you're like, yeah, that's that. But then when you see it with the other stuff, I did the same thing. I actually have a Midnight Muse marker. So I was able to compare the Midnight Muse color with the new Midnight that we have, which now I can't think of the name. They did that to us with both magenta and the Midnight this year. They gave us 2 colors that we've had before with different surnames. And so I'm having a hard time remembering what they are. So let's get going on this card. It's so much fun to create it. We are going to use the Fluid 100 watercolor paper to cut our die from. And it's just the right width. It's a little longer than what you need, so it gives you a little bit of spare. Let's get our die machine over here. So not only are we using the big die, but this set, you wouldn't know it if you've watched only my channel. So we've got this nice, lovely, ginormous die. And then it also comes with little die. So it has the same as the big ones. It has the full ones and then outlines. Okay, I'm going to do these separate. I added them to my card, so I wasn't quite sure if I could fit them on here. But you can see this fits perfectly. I was able to get it on some scraps because I did it second. And I did roll it twice just because the watercolor paper is thick. I don't know that I had to, but I did. And I'm just going to do it here too because the watercolor paper is way thicker than our regular paper. That's why you can watercolor on it. So let's get this, and I'll just take this off. You're left with this little bit here, which is plenty big enough to stamp a lot of our images on. So don't throw that away. The watercolor paper is just cut a different size than most of our papers. And if you haven't used it, it's so much fun to work with. You can do a lot. You can play a lot more with it because it stays wet. So pop all those middles out. So we have that one. And this one. And like I said, there's a top and a bottom to those, just like there are with the big stamps. And then we've got this one. bringing the vacuum in here. So I'm trying not to make a giant mess on my floor. We have lots of messy dies at the moment, and I have so many of them in the pre-order. And when I was busy last week, and then when we did our Facebook Live event, I just had paper things everywhere. Okay, so we have all those out. So to watercolor this, you're gonna wanna have something underneath you that the water's not gonna soak through. So I'm going to use this piece of scrap cardboard, and I keep all of the scrap backings that come in our designer series paper, and you can cut them. It was 12 by 12. I just cut it down to make it a little less giant for my table. And then I've got our watercolor pencils, and that would be UPS with the rest of my pre-order that I didn't get. So I've got the sunflowers, I've got the brass paper. My daughter got the Magic Mates, I think it's called, and hers comes today. So the few things that we didn't get, we now have. Her order comes today as well. Yep, there goes the UPS truck. So just color really hard. You want lots of color for this technique. So I'm gonna do the flower centers in yellow. And then let's go pumpkin pie to the edge. And this is gonna be one of the magic of video things, because I'm going to do this. Let me do one flower. We've got this must be coral. I'm gonna do one, and then I'll go back and do them all. And often when I do this, here's a little secret. If you don't follow me on Instagram, because I have the video and I edit it for YouTube, and so you won't see me do the rest of this because I will just cut it out, and then I'll come back and it will be done, and I'll tell you how I did the rest. But then when I edit it for Instagram, I only show this part. So you'll see only the coloring, or like a really quick, but it has to be less than a minute because it's Instagram. So it all gets sped up so you actually see the coloring. And then this is Mambo. So you can see I'm just kind of coloring heavy and putting the color down. And then with the leaves, I have some Granny Apple green. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you actually get to see usually different parts of my card making. My bracelet's falling off. Than what you see on, like on Instagram. I'll probably cut that part out but all this goes super fast. So I'm gonna finish this, and then I will come back and show you the next step. Okay, so here they are, and you can kind of see they're just all colored. They look kind of a hot mess right now, but this is really when the magic and the fun part happens. So this is an empty Wink of Stella, and you know, if you follow me, I keep all of my empty Wink of Stellas because they make fabulous paintbrushes for all different kinds of techniques. So this one I'm just going to use for water, but the fun thing is really no matter, they have to be used for a really long time till there's absolutely no Wink of Stella left in them. So there's going to be a tiny bit of glitter that comes ever so tiny. So you just get a whole lot of water, and you start with your lightest color. And so let's do these flower centers first with the yellow. And you just watercolor. Now the more water you put on, the more it will smudge. That's why you want to put a lot of color down with the pencils, because number one, the pencils are really inexpensive, and I've had mine for a really long time, for as long as we've had them, because you know, as soon as they were available the first day, then I ordered them. It's one of the first things I started stamping with when I started stamping a million years ago. I start with Stampin' at my 25th year this September. And that's what I had that I stamped with before I even started with Stampin' Up was watercolor pencils. So every time we've had watercolor pencils, then I always get them because they're very inexpensive and they're a great way to add color, and they last forever unless you break them. So there's all the centers. So the more color you add, the less you have to kind of smudge this around. But the nice thing is because it's watercolor paper, you can. So I'm just like adding the color, and then the lead kind of blends itself around. If you don't add enough pencil, then you'll have to go back and do another coat. Or it'll just be really pale, which if you like a really pale design, then that works. It also, the more pencil you add, the less pencil lines you will end up with, which you want it to look like it was painted, not necessarily colored with pencils. So as you put your water on here, you can kind of like smudge it around and move those pencil lines so they don't stay there. And you can let the water sit for a second and then go back and move it, because you can see now once it's sat there, now it all really moves. So I first go around and kind of wet all similar colors. And you can see that in no place did I use just one color. On every leaf, there's 2 colors, because then when I go back and blend it, then it kind of all mixes and it never looks like I just used one straight color. So let's just get all this wet. I'm going to do this and then I'll fast forward it and I'll come back. Okay, so here they are. Look how pretty they are. I'm going to switch them over to some white paper because they're not going to, we may want to do a little bit of touch-ups, or we may kind of like them. I think the purples are going to need a little bit more. But now the paper's wet. Of course, it's watercolor paper, so it's not in any danger of anything. But there are some places where I'd like it to be a little bit stronger of color. Like the yellows are good, my greens are great. But if you just want to get a little bit darker color, there's going to be 2 things we're going to do now. We're going to take this, actually probably, let's get this back because I'm going to need this just for some scrap. So this is some shimmer white. It's going to be our background. And then I'm going to have this little panel piece here because I'm going to cut this in half. I know you've seen the preview card on the main page. So this is one of the little greetings out of the Blossoms in Bloom. Just have some black ink. Put that there. Sure do miss you. There's some fun little sayings. I love the font. So now when we do these, I'm going to get a bunch of water on my pen, and then I'm just going to pick my color up from here. And then I can get it a little bit darker. I don't know, I'll try to zoom the camera in, but it's kind of hard to see the shimmer. There's ever so slight. It's definitely Wink of Stella, and you can see the shimmer. But it's not the overt, oh, this has been shimmered. It's much more the shimmery white cardstock look that you get with it. So then we can just kind of, and I don't want the whole flowers again to be the dark purple. It kind of gives you a little bit more control on where you want to add a little bit of highlight. Let's get this one up here. Again, it's giving it much more the watercolor look than just pencil. And then when I go to clean my brush off, I've got a little bit of purple. I'm going to add another dot, grab some water. I'm going to take my heavy scissors, kind of lay this where it's going to be on my card. Oh, my nose just, and then I'm just going to clean it off just like this. Fun thing is this is also getting some of the mystery Wink of Stella that's all in here. So it gets a little bit of shimmer too. So let's get the rest of that off. And then let's add just a bit more. I've got a lot of the flamingo. Let's get some of the coral for, you do need to sharpen your pencils more when you do this because it sucks up the, but again, you're not going to use, now you can see where it's really getting some of that Stella out because I just hit the pencil. So wherever it's hiding up in here where it kind of gets stuck when you think your pen's empty, bashing it with the scissors kind of knocks it right all down in there. But it's a fun way to go back and add some of these darker highlights into your flowers. And then again, just grab some of this and take our pen, get some of them up here. This cardboard makes a great little background for just getting rid of, and you can see the Stella's coming out now, and it was completely gone from the last time that I used it. Then I do just want to get, this is more just for fun because I want one of the bright colors to be on here, which actually Mambo is probably the brightest. So for this one, I'm just going to get some Mambo ink. And this is just so I can have it on here. So this is like a background technique that costs next to nothing, because this is literally, a lot of people, this is trash to them, because I don't know how many of you are now going, oh, I can't believe that I have thrown away empty Wink of Stella's. Don't ever. Because all of this eventually is going to work its way out. And I mean, this is only one of about 15 things that I do with empty Wink of Stella's. And I say it's empty, and you can see how much Wink of Stella is in here now. But if you look in the barrel, like if you hold yours up to the window to see if it's gone when you throw yours away, you're like, yeah, that's gone. It's not even close to gone. You're gonna get a whole lot of use out of this, so don't throw it away. You see how pretty this is? Got that little shimmer, got all those little specklies. So much more fun than a plain old white piece of cardstock. And now we've got this very pretty thing going on here. And then I'm gonna need one more piece of shimmer white. Okay, so I have this piece here, and then you may have seen my white on white card technique. I fell in love with that. So you're gonna take this. This one gives you a lot of more area as far as adhering it. So just take the flower centers and just put a little bit of adhesive. I can't wait till June 3rd when I can order a new adhesive. And then take this, this is another piece of shimmer white. No, I just got that dirty. But you know, the nice thing with watercolor pencil, let me show you, you can see I laid it someplace purple on here. So let's just take a little bit of yellow. Put it right back on top of there. Grab some more yellow here. And just pick that right up, because the water on a watercolor pencil acts like an eraser. So just kind of erase that right back up. But now that's wet and the rest of the card isn't. Let me grab my heat tool and just dry that spot off. But anytime you make a mistake with a watercolor pencil, it's not a mistake, because just take some water and erase it. The same thing as an eraser. Okay. Now let's get our folder. I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the white on white one. I'm going to put it through that same texture folder. Now the watercolor cardstock is thicker, so it's not going to emboss through both patterns. It's going to emboss the flowers and the back, but the middles of it, it's not going to emboss. You'll see what I mean. So just put this in here. So I'm going to run it through twice, and both times I'm going to let this be the top. So one time. And then I'm going to flip this upside down so we get one more time, and that time just kind of press it that way. And even then it's still not going to get it all, but it's going to give it, the watercolor paper already has a little bit of texture to it. But you can see the flowers in here where it didn't, no matter what, it's just not, the watercolor paper is so thick that it doesn't get down in between there. But see how pretty that is? So it leaves that empty in between. And you can see where I had that purple smudge. Never, never know. Never, ever, ever, because it just disappeared. It was on this one right here and it's gone. So then I just went over to my paper cutter, and so I already have one of these. And I took this and I just cut it in half. So now you have a half of one of those. So you'll get to make 2 cards out of this. Or the reason I'm not going to cut this one in half is I think I'm going to show you, go to my website and I will make a full version of something else, because I'm already going to have 2 of these, so I didn't want 4. So you're going to take this, and here's our little pumpkin pie piece. But before you mount all this together, this is the same. I wanted to show because I know everybody loved the white on white. So this is just the same supplies, but just adding watercolor pencils is really all I added to the white on white. So same technique, same basic principles, and just added something really inexpensive, and then a piece of trash Stella and some water. So you all have the water. So take the same linen ribbon that I used before, our Pretty Summer, and now you can see how much speckle that put on compared to the clean piece of. Again, it's another thing you can do if you have some dirty paper that got a little bit messy, just speckle it. Cut this. This is another reason I'm starting to run out of all of my pre-order. Look, that's all I had left. So I can't make 4 of these. And another reason why all of the ribbon shares, I can't do a million ribbon shares, because we can't order a million yards of ribbon this year because they've already told us there's a limit of stuff that people will be able to get. Like, yep, we're all going to be just able to order 1 in color refill, because this is an interesting fact. The place that makes our ink refills has been making medical supplies. So, you know, during the time of COVID, it's more important for them to make medical supplies than it is for them to make ink refills. So it is what it is. They're making enough for people to order 1 of what they've estimated, but that's all we'll be able to order at the beginning. So it's just the time that we're living in, and so we're just going to have to live with that. So take this, that's tied around there. Take this and slide it back in. And I'm going to put my adhesive on here, and it just needs a tiny bit because that ribbon's going to help keep it in place. I want it all the way to the edge. Just like that. And we'll put this here over the top. This is going to take a little bit more. I didn't want it raised up because I'm going to raise those other second flowers that I did up, so I didn't want the whole card to be too much. So just put enough adhesive there that even though that ribbon's there, you can kind of push that down. Go back to our bumblebee cardstock that is not crushed curry, because crushed curry, and you'd be going, that's a pretty fall card. This is not a fall card. It's a nice spring, early summer card. On here, and here's a little magic thing. I should have moved that up. So we're just going to take a tiny bit of adhesive, because I don't want my bow to cover up the Sure Do Miss You, and just stick it there. And then take your little 2 extra pieces that you have. Let's stick one here. Oh. Maybe I'm out of adhesive. Nope, there's enough. It's almost out. Which, you know, it only runs out when I'm filming, so surprised there's enough there for me to finish it. There you go. Super cute. Really easy to do. And again, it's not much different than the card I did the other day, which was the white on white, except for the fact that I used the bigger of the 2 dies. This one has more surface area. The other one's the really delicate. You couldn't color on it. It would rip it. Here's the other half. So you see, if you put these together, then you have that. But it's the same overall concept. I just colored one and not the other. So here's the honest truth. Once pre-order season's over, it's not very often that I go back and do anything again with these stamps, just because I will have ordered other stuff and I move on to more classes. So my goal is to now go and use this set the way it was designed, where you stamp and then you put because the stamp should be underneath, this should be on top, and then the delicate one should be on the top of that. I have yet to do that. So I am going to try before my stuff gets here. It's still a while till it gets here. We can order June 3rd and I will expedite it. So my stuff will be here like June 5th-ish, but I do have camp that weekend. Real for Life people in my house camp. So I can't do anything that day. So I have a few days still to mess with my pre-order. So I'm going to try one more card with this stuff, because it may be that after that I never stamp with these things again. Maybe. It's a beautiful stamp set and I do love it. I hope that you've fallen in love with it as much as I have. So that's what I have for you today. Check back with me again tomorrow, and if all is well in my private life, then I will have another thing for you tomorrow. And if you're not on my email list, make sure you get on, because if you're interested in taking my Try It class, you're going to need to sign up soon. Otherwise, you're going to miss out because I'm going to have to close it probably before June 1st when the cutoff is, the deadline is. So have a great day. Bye.